I got a question from our good friend Rishabh. Hope I'm saying your name correctly. If not, correct me in the comment section down below. So the question is, I want to see a video on what qualities should UX interns have. This is a very interesting question because I see qualities are like being smart, tall, kind. Are those attributes or are those qualities? Is being very good at Figma a quality or is it a skill? What's the difference? So I think. After looking back at my own 5 internship experiences and how I hired interns in the past, I have identified 5 qualities that I think UX interns should have. And therefore, in this video, I am going to go over why those 5 qualities. I'm going to break them down one by one, and I will wrap the video by going over my general comments, my thoughts, and how I would rank those 5 qualities. If all those sound interesting, grab your favorite drink and let's get into it, y'all. Good morning, everyone. My name is Justine. I'm a designer working in the Bay Area. To just tell you up front, if you are a crafty, knowledgeable, articulate, collaborative, and passionate designer, or students in this case, you will make a very good UX intern. But why that is the case, we first have to look at why companies and how companies hire UX interns. So these are all true stories, by the way. It's either something that I've heard before from my other designer friends, or I'm part of the hiring process, so I know how things go. When companies hire interns, they tend to have the intent to hire a designer sometime down the road, maybe next year, but right now they don't have the headcount or the budget, so they will just hire an intern to just test the water, try them out, see how good they are, so hopefully convert them into a full-time designer. This is just like those samples from Costco. You see it, you try it, you like it, you buy it. Yes, I was that sausage 5 times. This is true especially for big tech companies, so like Facebook and Microsoft, which means hiring an UX intern for them is pretty much the same as hiring a full-time UX designer. So now we should look at what makes a great new grad UX designer. When you meet that expectation, meet the requirement, very likely you are going to be a good intern candidate as well. And for this, we should turn into something called the UX career ladder. At companies, there's this rubric, grading sheet type of thing that officially document how each level of a UX designer should perform. This one, for example, breaks down product designer, junior level, mid-level, senior level, lead designer from the categories of design research, scope, leadership, mentorship, and improvement. This one, for example, breaks it down into several skill sets like hard skills, soft skills, and the rubric varies from company to company, but overall they are pretty much the same thing. And because we know the requirements for hiring a UX interns are fairly the same, fairly similar to how you will hire a junior UX designer. So now we can map these expectations back to the 5 qualities that I mentioned in the beginning, which leads us to chapter 2, the 5 qualities. Being crafty means you are able to execute. This is the hard skill you need to ship product for the company. This is more about your UI design. So think about it in these questions. How well can you use Figma to put the mockups together? How good are those mockups? Is your visual design up to the company standard? Can you prototype in Figma or other prototyping tools? Are you able to animate in After Effects? Is your motion design smooth enough? Can you use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign? How well can you use those tools to execute the design that you have in mind? And that's being crafty. So next is being knowledgeable. That's where you showcase the knowledge, the design knowledge you have. So how much do you know about design? Do you understand design? Can you talk in all the design languages? Do you know the vocabularies? Toggle, sliders, drop-down menu, signifier versus affordances, mental model journey mapping, affinity mapping. Can you solve user problems? How do you solve it? What's your approach? Do you know what design thinking is? Do you know when and how to use empathy? Can you do user research? Can you do it correctly? And like I mentioned in one of the videos that I made, did you ask leading questions? If you have the knowledge, can you share the knowledge? How well can you talk about this knowledge? Can you give a presentation on typography, on layout design? The next quality, being articulate. This is your presentation skills. So how well can you talk about your project verbally? Can I still follow your presentation when I'm slightly distracted? Which relates to a term that I used before, followability. Yeah, it's a term that I made up beautifully. which I cover in the video up there and description down below. How well can you synthesize all the research and distill it into maybe 3 bullet points, so I don't have to sit through a 20-minute presentation just you talking about how you go from writing the script to your 15 different findings. One of the interns did really well on this in their presentation, and in the end, we gave them an offer. Does your presentation have a story and a narrative, or is it more like, I did sketches, I did wireframe, I did some research, and this is my solution, which I also made a video about, so check it out up there and down below. Next is collaborative, which is essentially collaboration, working with other people. So have you worked with other people before? Other designers, other researchers, engineers, product managers? Can you work with people? And if you have done any group projects, how was the workload distributed? Did you do research? Did you do just ideation? Did you do only prototyping? Or you did everything? And what about other people in the group? What are their roles? The last part is being passionate. So this is more like your attitude, your point of view, your philosophy, your way of thinking. This is about why do you do what you do? Why do you want to do design? How much do you like design? Why do you like this project that you're doing? Why did you present this project to begin with? Why do you like this project? Why this project is the one that you're most proud of? Are you passionate about designing and presenting your design? What do you do when you face challenges in the process? Where do you get your ideas from? What is your personality? Are you a humble hard worker, or are you an arrogant genius? Which kind are you? It even goes into, how do you see the world? What should the world be? And even as trivial as, what do you do after work? There's one interesting one to share, which was one of the past interns. They said they collect nice packaging. So when they bought the product, they just save that packaging at home or something like that, which is interesting. This breakdown should give you some ideas on what each quality means, and you might realize, oh, I'm crafty, but I'm not that collaborative. I'm definitely passionate. The best scenario, of course, is you ace in every way. But if you need to work on a field, what should you work on first? So let's get to chapter 3. My ranking and general thoughts. Out of all 5, if I have to pick one that I think is the most critical, crucial qualities that UX intern should have, I think it will be being passionate. Because that's the mindset, attitude that you will come with for every single thing you do in design. If you are passionate about design and design is your passion, then of course it will lead you to acquire more knowledge, to learn new tools and skills, because you want to figure out, oh, how do I animate this? Why is this layout so nice? Naturally, you will become more motivated, more driven. You want to gain more experiences. You want to take on more projects, even bigger projects. And then you will also realize all of a sudden, in order to do this big project, for your vision to come true, you cannot do this alone. Then you will start to, okay, I need to find an engineer, I need to find a product manager. So you all of a sudden, you have a team that you're working with. You become more collaborative, which is to say, if you're passionate, you will have the right mindset and attitude, which helps you to be more curious, driven, motivated. Once you become curious and driven, being crafty, knowledgeable, articulate, and collaborative will follow. At least they will come more easily. However, that's not all, because the hiring process for interns don't go the same way. The 5 qualities will likely be assessed in this following order. First, they will look at how crafty you are. Then they will look into how knowledgeable you are, followed by articulate and being collaborative. And lastly, being passionate is the last thing that they look at. This is the order because your online portfolio is likely the thing the hiring manager will see first, which forms the first impression at that level. And then they keep scrolling, they spend a little bit more time on your portfolio, they get to know some of your processes from your design solution. And as they're reading through, they get how you communicate your ideas in text, in pictures, on your website. And then by reading the project summary and the complexity of the project, they can make a general guess about how collaborative you might be. Because if it's really small scope project, really not complex, very easy, likely you're just doing it solo. After going through one project or two, the hiring manager will have a slight idea of how passionate you are. And then once you start to interview, they will confirm your passion when they actually talk to you one-on-one, in person, or via video call, that's where your personality really shines. And that's also when they get to know your perspective, your mindset, and your story. If I were to do it all over again, I will still go from passion. Once I found out why design is so gorgeous, it's so fun, it's so inspiring to me personally, why am I drawn to it, naturally it pushes me to do all the other things to make me more crafty, more knowledgeable, more collaborative, and more articulate. As a crafty, knowledgeable, articulate, collaborative, and passionate UX student, you will make a very compelling UX intern candidate, because you are giving the hiring manager every signal that they can trust you, that they can rely on you, executing design for the company, and they want you to be on their team, and ultimately give you an offer to hire you. If you want to get this whole Google Doc and support me spending more than 20 hours on this, buy me a $2 coffee to keep me caffeinated and productive. DM me on Discord and I will send a copy your way. Of course, there are a lot more you can learn and do. I will see you all in these videos. Keep designing a better future. Cheers.